All right. Well, welcome everybody to the Rocky Series podcast. I am flying solo today. My brother Ruben couldn't be here due to his work schedule, but I'm Ryan, and with me are two very special guests. This is Ritchie and Rocky, or Rocky and Ritchie. I almost feel bad putting Ritchie first. I think Rocky might get mad at me. The super ugly.
This is the Rocky podcast, right? I should get top billing. I got the name.
That's absolutely true. So that was Rocky talking there. These guys host a YouTube podcast called The SuperUgly Show, and I've been a fan of their show for, I don't know, at least over a year now, a year plus. I found them by accident online, in a good way, a happy accident, because I was looking for Rocky stuff, and of course, Rocky posted something Rocky related, and I had to listen to their show. And then now that you guys are on Spotify under the Russo brand and Google Play, which I really like, because I'm a earbuds guy walking around doing chores type podcast listener. So I'll stop talking, let you guys introduce yourselves, and maybe just tell me and tell the audience why you like Rocky. Like, why would you even come on my show?
Well, first of all, I know you're Canadian, but here in America, if you're a man or a male and you're not a fan of the Rocky series, you should get your man card revoked. Like in America, it's un-American to say you don't like the Rocky movies as a man. Am I wrong, Rich?
Yeah, if you don't like these movies, there's something really wrong with you. I mean, especially if you're an American. No offense, Ryan, but
why would I be offended?
Well, because you're not American. But it's a real spit in the face to the country if you shun the Rocky movies.
Yeah, when people tell me they've never seen them, I'm like,
we got nothing in common.
It's foreign to me. It's like you have to go out of your way to not see these movies. They're on so much. And as a guy, you should just go, Rocky, I know I'm supposed to see this. As a guy, I should watch this.
So when was the first time, Ritchie, you saw Rocky? What's your first memory?
Oh man, it's been ever since I was a kid, so forever. It's always been in my house.
And I know for Rocky, whenever Rocky is on in your house, everything stops and people have to watch. It's like a religion.
If you see it in the guide, like if you're going through the channel guide and you see there's a Rocky movie on, it must be turned on and stays on. If it's a marathon, then it just stays on, but it stays on until the movie's over.
That's awesome.
Yeah, well, and my wife abides by it. I get pictures sent to me while I'm at work, and she shows me, look, we put it on just so, I know the rule's not being broken.
She's a good woman. Very good woman.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
So Creed 2 is coming out. Are you guys seeing this in the theaters, I presume?
Opening night.
Yeah.
And what are your thoughts? What do you think it's going to be like? What do you think it's going to be like? I know you've seen the trailers, of course. You get a feel of what it already kind of feels like, it looks like, but is it going to be better than Creed 1? Where do you think it's going to rank in the Rocky franchise?
No. Creed 1, it was kind of like lightning in a bottle. And Ryan Coogler, now as we're seeing, is an amazing director, which I already knew once he was attached to Creed from Fruitvale Station. And there was one other movie he did I'm blanking on right now. But
Black Panther.
And now he well, yeah, obviously. But now he no, there was one before Creed. I forget what it was. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was Fruitvale. But now that he's not behind this movie, that kind of puts it in question. And then
but the up and comer is the same. It was Ryan Coogler supposed to be like
the motive of the movie though is very weird to me. Like, did Drago motivate his son his whole life to go after maybe Apollo having a kid out there that will box, or like, I can't understand any of the reasoning. Like, I don't get it. Like, I really don't. You lost the fight to Rocky. You killed Adonis's father, and your best instinct is to now go after this innocent child of a man you killed. Like, I don't get it. And if it's Adonis going after him, that I kind of understand more, but we have to see how the whole thing gets initiated.
But me and you have talked about this, and for the simple fact of Drago losing that match, he probably got the crap kicked out of him for a long time.
He was shunned, you would have to think, because the whole country turned their back on him.
Yeah, that's what he said in that little featurette. I don't know if you saw that one featurette.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, at the restaurant. Yeah, he said everyone, turned. But again, then why is he getting this second chance? Because not only he threw a man that was representing him by the neck and into the crowd like 3 or 4 rows.
And now he puts his son in jeopardy.
Yeah, and he even said to Gorbachev, you remember, he pointed at him, he goes, I don't fight for you, I fight for me. Yeah. So why Russia is still accepting this man at all blows my mind. See, I thought we were going to get a twist where it was Drago's son going after Adonis, and Drago was actually going to be on Adonis's side. And like, you know, you shouldn't be doing this to his son type thing.
No, he was raised in hate. What's his name? I almost called Dolph. Drago raised Victor in hate. So there's a lot of hate in that family, man. They hate the Balboas, and they hate anyone connected to them. So they're there to destroy the Balboa legacy.
And again. Where's Bridget Nielsen?
She's nursing a baby right now.
Can you believe that? She's like 68 and she's having a baby. She's just had a baby. Ryan, real quick too, congratulations on the big news you guys just got. That was awesome.
Oh yeah, we just had an interview with Sports Illustrated, so we're very excited about that. That'll be in December's issue. Yeah, I'm pretty blown away.
In the actual magazine or like an online article?
No, it's a December issue of
that is amazing. Print.
In print.
That's fantastic, dude. That's huge news for you guys. That's going to be big, man.
Thank you.
That's great.
I can't believe it. Ruben, my brother, he said of all the magazines that he ever thought he'd ever be in, Sports Illustrated would not be one of them. This guy he doesn't even know what a basketball look. Put it this way, Ruben thought the Super Bowl was a nickname. He thought it was just like saying this is like a super activity. This is a fantastic activity to do with the Super Bowl. He thought that was like a description of the activity. He didn't know that was the actual event. Wow. So this guy's gonna be a Sports Illustrated. Go figure, right?
Yeah, that's awesome though, dude. Congratulations. That's really fantastic.
Thank you. So you guys, you were on my show before. I forget which number it was. We can go back and look. And I loved having you on.
The turkey one. Didn't I do the turkey with you from part one?
Well, I don't know if we probably talked about that scene. And when you guys first came on, it was just a general discussion like we're doing now of Rocky.
Right. Oh, no, you know what it is? I did that Rocky Minute podcast once.
Did you?
Yeah. I think I did it one time. I think I did, didn't I?
I think so.
Okay, cool, yeah.
And I think that was the minute we did, was the turkey throwing scene.
Oh, yeah, they're friends of the show. They're awesome guys.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I wanted you guys to come back, and I feel like it's been so long. I feel terrible it's been so long. But I wanted you guys to actually come back and talk about, like we do on the show, a specific scene. And for whatever crazy reason, Rocky, you wanted specifically to talk about the scene after the press conference that Rocky has with Drago and his crew, where Adrian confronts Rocky on the stairs. But before we go there, there's that quick little sequence that we see of Adrian driving to the house, and there's a whole bunch of reporters surrounding the house.
Yeah.
And your video's gone, which is fine, but your audio's still there.
All right, yeah. Because I wrote stuff down. I have to look at it. So
no, that's fine. I got notes here too. There's no shame in that. There's no shame.
And it's in my phone though. That's why.
Oh, okay, that's fine. That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay, so the reporters are crowded around. Now, there's two things that I find interesting about this whole sequence. Is one, how is it possible? And I know this is before the internet and all that good stuff, but how is it possible that Rocky was able to organize a press conference, this whole event, and Adrian being, completely unaware that her husband is fighting Drago in Russia? It's not till the reporters surround her house that she gets any indication that something's up. Do you guys ever think about that?
Yeah, well, it seems this family in general is just very distant to everybody. The only people who seem to have a legit relationship is Rocky and Paulie. Everyone else just kind of like goes through the motions of a family. But from what I could tell, they want nothing to do with their child. That they make that very obvious. The only
you love harping on their child
because it's so true. They want nothing to do with that kid. Well, and then Adrian only talks to Rocky when she feels like bitching about him for one of his fights.
And I think that Rocky he's not going to want to talk to Adrian because he knows Adrian's not going to want to. She's not going to want him to fight. She didn't want Paul to fight.
She's always negative.
So I'm sure he dodged her to do this conference.
And that's why I wanted to do this stairway scene, because this is the peak of her negativity. Like there is no bigger moment in the Rocky series where Adrian has been so negative than in this staircase scene.
Okay, so let's get to it. So she shoos off the reporter. She says, "I don't know why you're here. I'm not going to Russia."
Oh, bro, hold on real quick, too. Why are there no police at Rocky's house? All these people are trespassing on his property. Like, you can't just run up in someone's driveway with cameras and microphones and all sorts of shit and be like, hey, you're going to talk to us, lady. Like, now you're trespassing on Rocky's property. And why does he not have a gate around his house? He's the champion of the world. And these people just have that easy access to run up to his house like that? I don't know how well you know Italians, but Italians, we gate our stuff. We get gaudy statues. I mean, clearly they didn't do a good job at scouting this house in Rocky IV, because no Italian would buy a house without a giant gate and statues and all sorts of crap.
Statue, 2 lions.
Yeah, 2 lions. Absolutely. You know.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's a huge house too, eh? Like the big pillars in the front doorway there. Did you notice that?
Oh, it's gigantic. It's a beautiful home. It's a beautiful home. When she comes walking down the little foray there to the stairs, you can see the nice overview of that beautiful front door and the banners and everything. It's beautiful craftsmanship. He's got nice hardwood floors. It's gorgeous, stunning house, which is funny because he goes, this isn't everything. At one point during this, he goes, this isn't everything. The cars, the house. In Rocky V, he really makes it seem like it was everything, doesn't he?
Of course.
Well, yeah, we'll talk about that. I actually do want to talk about that part before we get there. So,
yeah.
So I've got the dialogue here. I've actually got the whole quote too here in front of me, so we can follow along. So he comes home late at night, whatever. So they haven't communicated all day apparently. So she's driven home, even if it's like 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening. She's gone home. She now knows that Rocky's going to Russia. Now
Where was he in between the press conference and this scene? Because after this, he does a car ride. Like, let me gather my thoughts.
I smell another montage in the uncut scenes.
But that's what I mean. Like, what was he doing in between the press conference and getting home where he felt the need to go for another drive to clear his thoughts? You would have to think he already went for a drive to clear his thoughts because he pulls up in his car.
His Lamborghini Countach.
Yeah, how many drive thinking moments does Rocky need to have? I can't think he's that big of a thinker to begin with. He's kind of a dumb man.
And Adrian infests the brain.
What?
She infests the brain. And when we play this scene, like we're gonna watch the scene, me and Rocky together. But when he comes in the house, when he walks in the house for the first time after Adrian's home, he's dragging his feet, not wanting to be in the house.
He knows what he's walking into. He knows exactly what he's walking in. And here she comes, and all he hears is like that Darth Vader music, you know. Dun, 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 dun. He's like, here comes the doom and gloom.
I was thinking about this one.
So, yeah, I give Adrian credit, though, at the very beginning, because I don't know about your guys' wives or anyone that you've been with in the past, where if you did this to your significant other, what would their response be when you first walk in the door?
Yeah, the behind the back thing is definitely, and this is what I mean about their relationship, on how they have no communication. There's no involvement in each other's lives. How he could have pulled all this off, set up a fight, you know, like this isn't an overnight thing. These things take a while to set up the venue, get the date right, set up the time.
We got time for that, bro.
What?
We got to jump right into this.
But I mean, USA Network's there, so there's TV networks involved.
Yeah.
This isn't just a quick fly by night. Hey, let's have it. Even Apollo's event seemed like it was just thrown together, but it's not something you can do.
Yeah.
So she at the top of the stairs when he walks in, she was waiting for him, obviously, waiting for him to open that door. And
oh yeah.
He looked exhausted, which for whatever reason, but he already defeated before he walks in the house.
I imagine her just sitting real shitty on the edge of the bed waiting for him with like a nail file, just filing her nails all angrily. And then she saw the lights of the car and was like, threw the nail file down and was like, here we go. You know, that was her attitude.
Of course.
She's a miserable person.
Oh, you guys kill me. All right. So to be fair to Adrian, she said, "You all right?"
She did say that, but again, I think it's just to set up the rest of the crap she's about to spew.
Well, yes and no, but I know you've got a bone to pick with Adrian, and that's fair. I'm not saying it's not fair, but I'm trying to give credit where credit's due. Where Adrian,
well, here's my beef with her, because it's every movie. She's never supportive in the beginning, and she takes it until the man's about literally to break to pieces until she finally supports him. Why can't she just be supportive in the beginning? You asked if my wife would act this way. Not in a million years. She would be 100% supportive from the beginning to the end.
Right. Fair enough. Yeah, I believe that. I know. So you're absolutely right about the Adrian character. We love their relationship. That's one of the big things that fans love with the Rock series, that they do love each other. They might show it in a way that we wouldn't show it, but definitely they love each other as a husband and wife. But for whatever reason, Adrian, like you said, she always seems to withdraw her support. It's weird. The only time that she seemed to be fully supportive of Rocky's career was from the events of Rocky 2 to Rocky 3 when he had those 10 title matches.
Yeah.
Because she was
that's when the money started coming.
Yeah,
she started seeing dollars.
She was dancing in the crowd, bopping her head up and down to Rocky, knocking people out left and right. Because all these fighters, and she knew that they were handpicked too. I think she knew that these fighters.
She was telling Mickey. She's the one telling them, "Come on, let's get a couple of ham and eggers in here. We don't want to lose our bread and butter just yet." She knew what she was doing. She knew.
He's getting a little punchy. We need to.
You remember who the brains was in this operation? Well, she was shy. She wasn't a stupid woman.
All right, so let's say, all right, so he walks in the house. Adrian asks him,
"Are you all right?
Why'd you do it?"
Yeah, why?
It's a good question. It's a fair question. She's not yelling. She's not screaming yet.
Yeah, and then she goes, other people can change. Why can't you change? And why can't even if you still win, Apollo's still gone. And she's like, and he goes, a lot of people have choices. I don't have a choice.
Yeah. So yeah, before we get there, she goes, why'd you do it? And Rocky says, I just got to do what I got to do.
Yeah, which he doesn't have to do this.
Yeah, he does.
Does he? Does he?
He does.
What does he have to prove against an essential amateur boxer? Drago's he's never fought as far as we know. He's an unknown.
Yeah.
So he's an amateur. So he came in and got lucky, and because Apollo decided to do a 15-minute fucking dance. Sorry, is there no cursing? I'm sorry if I cursed.
No, it's fine. Just be natural. Don't worry about the YouTube. The YouTube, you can be a little more natural. I just edit for the iTunes. Don't worry about it.
Okay, all right. But I'll try not to, so you don't have to kill yourself.
No.
But, he did the 15-minute dance routine and gets murked. Again, I think it was a heart issue. I don't think it was Drago's punches. He took a lot of shots from Rocky that were much worse in a 15-round fight. Let's be serious here.
Right.
I don't know. Those punches were a little devastating.
No, dude, when Rocky broke his ribs in part 1 at the end, and he was just nailing him, dude.
Yeah, but he had serious head trauma.
15 rounds they went through, man.
He cocked back those right hands.
I'm telling you,
the way to the corner.
His body was convulsing on the thing. That seems like a heart attack to me. That doesn't seem like a head trauma injury. That seems more, he was already worked up from the dance. He's an older man. He didn't train for this fight, and he got a little worked up, and his heart exploded.
Got a little excited.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think Drago's to blame in this. We all know Apollo's definitely to blame in his death. It's not Drago's fault.
Yeah, Ruben and I talked about that a couple episodes ago. We agree that Apollo, we still aren't clear on what his reasons were to allow himself to be punished to death, but it's all on Apollo's shoulders. No one else is to blame.
Tony,
I blame the ref.
I mean, Duke and Rocky also. And the ref should have had control of that fight. You're right. There's a lot of factors in there that are not conducive to making Drago the fault of this death. It's just not there. It's really not. He's a sportsman. He went in, he did his job. You go into boxing to beat someone.
Okay, so fair enough. He does have a choice. He could walk away from this fight.
And like Adrian even says, it's not going to change anything. Like if you win this fight, are you immediately going to go, I feel so much better now Apollo's dead? No. So what is he? He's not getting money out of this. He's got to leave his kid on Christmas, which, of course, he doesn't care. We're leaving the kid with the robot. What does he care? They try to get he's Rocky Balboa. Why did he pick Christmas Day to have this fight?
Yeah, we asked that same question.
Like, he could have picked any day. You're Rocky. Just go, how about the 26th?
Yeah, it should have been on Boxing Day. That's Canadian Boxing Day, the 26th.
There you go. Exactly. It would have made so much more sense.
All right, let's Ryan, go ahead, run through what you want to go through next, right after.
It's okay. Ritchie rating in Rocky. I appreciate it. So Adrian says here, Rocky, give us some time. Don't do this. A lot of people live with hurt. That's fair. But then Rocky actually brings up a really good point here. He said, a lot of people don't have a choice, Adrian. I do. So even if it's an insane choice, he feels like he can retribute the disaster
that's
that's
what
in front
I mean.
of him.
He's taking this fight for all the wrong reasons.
Sure.
His friend was killed in the boxing ring by his own fault.
Right.
Now what is this now? A death match? Because he even says on the stairs, he goes, he's going to have to kill me, or I'm going to have to kill him.
Let him go through that when we get to it, because that's one of the greatest.
But his reasoning behind this is all wrong.
Right. And I agree. Yeah, you're right, Ritchie. We're going to get to that. So Adrian says here, and for that, you're willing to lose everything. And then Rocky does something interesting here that Adrian also said in Rocky 3, where he goes, Adrian, this isn't everything. The house, the cars, everything we got, that ain't everything. There's a lot more than this, Adrian. So he thought Adrian was referring to losing the material things, but I think we should know that she's referring to his life.
Yes, I think so as well. I have to agree with you there.
So, but Rocky misses the point on that. And then she says here, I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this, because this is key here. She goes, before there were reasons to fight, I could understand, but I don't understand this, which is fair. But what were those reasons before that, like, other than the 10 title defenses, which she seemed to be on board for those, what is she referring to here before the reasons to fight before? Is she talking about just fighting Apollo again, fighting him the first time?
I think that has to do with Mr. T.
Okay.
Fighting and not to hold to that fear, that speech that she gave in part 3. Living with that, I think she was talking about, and also proving to himself, like in part 1, him wanting to go the distance and, proving to himself that he could do it. This is not like Rocky said, it's not going to make Apollo, it's not going to bring him back. He's dead. So she is right on what she's saying.
But then she brings up a terrible point. She goes, even if you win, what if you won? Apollo's still gone. Why can't you change your thinking? Why can't you change your thinking? Everybody else does. No, everybody else does. That's one of the most false things I think Adrian's ever said. I think the majority of people usually don't change their thought process. It's very few people that can actually get new evidence on a subject and then change their way of a previous belief or thought that they had before. So it's kind of a weird argument that she made. I don't know where this has ever been in your life. I don't know where people always change. Why you can't.
I don't like what she says there, because when has she ever changed? No,
but people don't change, especially not in their mid-30s to 40s.
No.
I mean, Jesus Christ. And not for nothing, this guy's made several changes. He was a street thug, if you remember in the beginning. He was breaking people's limbs collecting money for a mob boss, okay? Let's not act like he hasn't made several leaps and bounds as far as change goes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at him. He's wearing suits. He's clean cut. He doesn't talk like an idiot anymore.
Yep. Well, then he says, because I'm a fighter. That's how I'm made, Adrian. That's what you married. We can't change what we are. Now, we know what this is leading up to. This little dialogue of change, of course, is leading to the finale of the movie. It's a little bit hokey, but but he is a fighter. He's a manly man, right? This is his DNA. And I can't argue that. Can you guys argue this is his DNA?
Oh, absolutely it is. But she always likes to emasculate him before his fight. Yeah. She always likes to take his manhood away before the fight, and then come like a week or two before it's go time. Then she decides, all right, now I'm in.
You want to know why? Because she's not getting any before these fights.
She's selfish.
She's not getting any sex. That's why.
She's a selfish woman. She's a selfish woman.
Ever since Mickey said that, and he was like, yo, get off me, the legs,
Yeah.
And she's like, I can't do it. I can't fool around, Adrian.
Yep.
She's just mad because
Rock's slinging it, bro. He's crushing it.
Yeah.
He's got that Italian hog that we all have. He's got that brajol he's just pounding it out with. And she needs that. She can't go a day without it. And Rocky's like, listen, fight time. This is how we go. Sorry.
He's upset.
Oh my gosh. All right, it's gonna recover here. You guys kill me. This is why I listen to their show, guys. If you want to listen to the Super Ugly Show, go check them out Tuesday nights on YouTube. Okay.
Or just go to superuglyshow.com. We now have a superuglyshow.com website, and it's much easier to find everything right there.
That's
in
right.
the works.
It's in the works though, but it's still navigationable right now. But it's under construction, so don't judge a book by its cover yet.
All right, let's get it, Ryan. Proceed.
All right, so they go on to say you can't change what we are. It's we are who we are. But this is the big line come up here, of course. And Adrian, now to be fair again to Adrian, despite previous behavior on her part in the series, even let's just say the Adrian of between Rocky 2 and 3, let's just say that Adrian always existed. Okay, to be fair, let's just say she was always supportive, always behind her man. But these events then still take place. So her argument here is still valid, despite maybe her past behavior. She says here, you can't go with what you are. You've read the papers. It's suicide. So she actually uses a valid argument here because she said, Rocky says, you can't change who we are. We are what we are. We have to go with what we are. And so Adrian's saying, okay, that's fine. I'm telling you, you're 5'9". This guy's 6'4". He has 80 pounds on you. It's suicide. You can't win.
Now,
So
right there. Hold on, I got to stop.
No. Before you do Rocky, let me just make my point because she's saying like right now she's looking at Rocky as her husband. I know where you're going to go, but she's looking at her husband right now as using his argument against him, saying you're right. If you're going with what you are, this man will destroy you. Just mass to mass, DNA to DNA. He's a killer. You're smaller.
You see him. You know how strong he is.
Sure.
All right, now as a littler statured fella, screw all that. Because if she's going off it by that, she knows who her husband is. She knows how tough he is. Size doesn't mean anything when it comes down to a fight. Anyone can tell you that. It doesn't. So and you see his face when she goes, it's suicide. You can't win. He looks up at her and goes with that look of, are you effing kidding me? You're my wife. And that's what you say. Now, let's take it for the time period this was, 1985, 84, we'll say. Any good man would have ran up those stairs and hurled her right down them. I would have chucked her right down those stairs. I mean, nowadays in the Me Too era, we can't do that type of thing. But in 85,
at least her hair
perfectly acceptable.
Dragged down the stairs.
The police would have shown up and be like, hey.
Italian back then.
Yeah, police would have shown up and be like, hey, champ, how you doing? And he would be like, yo, you see her. I know she looks banged up, but hold up. She just told me I'm committing suicide and I can't win against this Russian guy. And no cops arresting Rocky after that. I don't care what cop shows up. They're going to go, you know what? You're right. And Mrs. Balboa, maybe next time you'll be a little supportive of your husband because you deserve this heave-ho down the stairs.
Heave-ho.
And I mean, not like, I want her to clear like 4 or 5 stairs before she even hits one because they got a bunch of stairs there.
A lot.
I want him to toss her like a sack of bricks and then she hits a stair and then does a tumble down.
A little topple down.
Yeah, like I wanted to feel the fall. It shouldn't be a pleasant experience at all. It should be a very, very, unpleasant experience and possibly a hospital visit.
The views and opinions of the Super Ugly Show don't necessarily reflect those of the Rocky Series podcast.
I'm just going for the time period. The 80s was a wacky time. It was a wacky time.
Well, you're right. Well, look at OJ, what he got away with. How many times he kicked the crap out of his wife over there.
Exactly.
That was the 90s.
Yeah,
no,
that
but
was
in
the
the
90s.
80s, he was beating her up. He was beating her up in the 80s.
Yeah, that's cool. It was OJ.
He was
the juice.
But I mean, to tell your husband it's suicide, that's a little much.
Yeah.
It's a little much. There's no reason to say you're going to die.
Right. I will just say she's scared. She's scared that she just saw her husband's best friend die at the hands of the very person that he's about to fight soon. You got to give her some credit. She's afraid.
She is scared.
And he beat that man last time they fought. And again, my wife would never go, my husband can't do. I mean, is going to end up the same way that guy did. Just because he couldn't do it, my husband can't do it. My wife's going to go, if he couldn't, my husband can. Yes, it's done.
Ryan, you hear me?
Oh, there you go. You guys back?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, now, Ryan, tell me this. How many times have you watched Rocky IV with other people and they have ruined the whole scene by saying you can't win before Adrian does?
Very
Or are you
rarely.
that guy?
No. Okay, let me just say, like you guys, I of course love Rocky, and I treat it like it's a religious experience for me as well. So when I show this movie to people that have never seen it, I never ruin it by talking and never quote it. And then secondly, so I never ruin the movie, and I very rarely watch it with people that have already seen it. if that makes sense. Usually it's I watch it with somebody that's never seen it before, or I just watch it by myself. So
how many people are you finding that haven't seen these movies? Are you like hunting them out?
Yeah, almost. My current wife, because I was married before, but my wife now. One of the things I did was before we got married, we watched them together, and if she hated Rocky, it might have changed the changed the engagement.
No, that's a no go. I agree with you 100%. Yeah, no. If your old lady doesn't like Rocky, it's not going to work.
Yeah,
it's not going to work because they're universally loved by men, women, and children.
Yeah.
And how do you expect to have some inspiration? Like, don't you want to show the girl that you're going to be with how to like jumpstart you to like put the confidence on your back?
There's nothing more romantic than in the end of part 2 when he wins that belt and the only thing he could think to say is, "Yo, Adrian, I did it," and she's crying and the boogers are coming out her nose. It's such a beautiful moment. It chokes me up every time.
And now you want to throw her down the stair.
Well, because again, why couldn't you be supportive the way? Even in part 2, she wasn't supportive until the end.
Yeah, I know.
You know, I mean,
it's the weakest part of the writing because it's these are all characters in a movie, and I would say I don't know how else they could have done it. Maybe they could have been written a little bit smarter. I hate to say it like that, but it's the weakest part of the franchise. Actually, is Rocky's strength comes from Adrian's support. It's always kind of bothered me. And so I'm with you on that. Even in part 5, when Rocky's like, if you just let me go toe to toe with this Union Kane guy, or for a little bit, like who's this putz? And I'm gonna get like $5 million, or this get us out of this mess. Like
I mean, and Tommy Gunn made light work of Union Kane. Rocky would have murdered him.
Yes, exactly.
With a proper training regimen, Rocky would have killed him inside of 2 rounds.
Actually, I've got something for you, Rocky. Remember in Rocky 2, of course, when Adrian wasn't supportive of Rocky fighting because she didn't want him to go blind?
Yeah.
Don't you find it ironic that she was willing to work at a pet shop and almost kill her baby? So she's willing to put the baby in jeopardy, but Rocky losing his sight was...
From day one, they never cared about that kid. From the moment she heard she was pregnant, she probably started taking up smoking. She's taking sneaky shots of Jack. And no one's looking. They didn't care about this kid ever. She was like 9 months pregnant. Yep, I'm picking up 75-pound bags of fucking dog food. That's what I'm doing. Instead of letting my husband, go be a man and do what he does best. Instead, he's being made to look like a fool around town everywhere he goes.
Oh, that kills me. Oh, Rocky, you're hilarious. Okay, so now we're at the final little speech here, and so for me as a viewer for this part of the movie, I understand Adrian's motive and all that stuff, but Rocky's speech, and Sylvester Stallone has written some really good speeches in these films. There's so many, of course, Rocky 1 on the bed, Rocky 2, even the Rocky 3's speech at on the beach that Adrian gave. That's great writing and great acting. Yeah. But for whatever reason, this scene where Rocky's talking about how he's going to have to stand toe to toe, and I'll just read it here. Okay. So it goes, Adrian always tells the truth. That's the most hurt we've ever seen Rocky, I think, in the franchise.
And it was like a dig at her too, I think it was more of like a shot at her of like, here we go again. Adrian's never wrong. Everything she says is the truth.
Right. Yeah, it's a fair statement on his part because he's listened to her. Now he's going to give his rebuttal.
And not for nothing, she's been wrong 3 movies 3 movies at this point. So
sure, fair enough. And he says here, no, maybe I can't win, and maybe the only thing I can do is just take everything he's got. This is where it gets a little bit weak for me. I don't know why, but follow along here. He goes, but to beat me, he's going to have to kill me, and to kill me, he's going to have the guts to stand in front of me, and to do that, he's got to be willing to die himself. And
that's why I said this is a death match to Rocky. He's seeing this as one of us has got to die in this match.
Yeah.
Let me reverse this then. Do you think Drago's intent when they first fought Apollo, like before they even started the match, was he told to kill Apollo?
No. Okay. Again, he's a competitor in Russia during the Cold War era. Okay, they didn't play around. They wanted their athletes to be the absolute best, and especially after the Russians lost in the '80 Olympics, that's still ringing in their heads.
It lingers.
So now Drago's representing Russia. They're not telling him go in there and kill the guy, but go in there and kill him. Air quotes. Let's beat the hell out of him. Show him Russia what Russia's made of.
Okay. So I agree. I don't think their intent was to kill. I think when Drago says if he dies, he dies. I think a reporter probably told him, or he saw like he's dying. A reporter says, "Hey, how do you feel about being this guy to such a degree?" I think he was nonplussed by Apollo's demise, but I don't think his intent was I'm going to kill Apollo.
No, and again, we're in a combat sport. If he dies, he dies. That's not my problem. We both signed up for this. It happens. That's unfortunately, one of the results of what we do.
Okay, that's fair. All right, so are you guys able to talk for like maybe 10 more, 15 more minutes about the Robert Tepper No Easy Way Out montage?
Not only am I able to talk about it, but I could start it off by saying this. The best song in Rocky movie history.
I agree.
There's No Easy Way Out.
It's amazing.
Before we even get into this journey on this beautiful car ride, because it's by far my favorite montage in any of the movies.
Okay.
How many times have you put that song on in a time of anger or time of sadness and just drove alone listening to that song and having your own Rocky Balboa Part 4 moment?
I've never done that.
I've done it numerous times. People have passed away, fight with a girlfriend, fight with a wife. Yeah. No, I've had that moment where that song comes on and I go, all right, let me just gather my thoughts here and, go into Rocky 4 mode.
Can you imagine seeing somebody out in public and they're like, there he is again,
Just thinking.
Pondering his thoughts.
We know he's thinking.
Let me stay out of this guy's way.
No Easy Way Out, son. It is. It's a beautiful song, though. It is a beautiful song.
I don't know if you guys know, I had the privilege of interviewing Robert Tepper on our show.
I saw that. I didn't get a chance to listen to it, but I mean, you even got the robot guy.
Yeah.
Now, how did he feel about Paulie having intercourse with this robot? Because clearly he was. Because
you got to listen to the interview. I asked him that.
I mean, you don't make a sexy voice. And then, did you ask him about is the robot sexy around the kid too? Because once the voice is changed, it's always sexy, right? Because
show us on the R2D2 where he touched you.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, this thing's a whore now. It's a whore bot. And, when she's babysitting the kid on Christmas, might I add, his parents both left him for Christmas with a robot.
I think they had the Latino help in the house. You got to remember that. You keep bringing that up, but the Latino woman was still there the whole time.
You're not going to trust her to watch your kid, though. Let's be honest. I think the robot's in charge of that situation.
Oh, gosh.
We all saw the Jetsons, all right? In the future, the robot was the maid, not the Spanish woman. Just saying.
Oh, you guys are killing me. Okay, so, check out the Robert Tepper and the Seiko robot creator, because the robot's name is Seiko, the robot, and his name is Robert Dornick, who created the robot. So I talked to him, and he did the voice work for the robot as well.
He did the sexy voice?
Yes.
That's embarrassing.
No, they have like a stop it. It was like it's a voice changer thing or whatever, right? Like they had. You got to listen to the interview.
He got caught by his wife dressing up as a chick one day and talking in the mirror as a woman, and she's like, "What are you doing?" He goes, "No, it's for Rocky. I'm doing a sexy voice," And then he had to follow through with it. So, but
hey, Ritchie, you ready to talk about the montage?
Well, now I have something honestly for the montage. Two things that stick out to me that I love in the cinematography of this part is the close-up quick cuts of the door handle being opened, the key in the ignition, the stick being pulled. I love all those little nuances that they show, and the strobe light Drago. Yeah, I remember as a kid being not scared, but he was scary a little bit. Because of the way they portrayed him with that strobe light, and he was a little beat up, and he was very scary looking. I remember when I was younger.
Yeah, it's a great menacing shot, and it's one of the few shots in the montage that was actually filmed for the montage that it didn't come from a previously filmed sequence in the films. So they filmed this menacing Drago with the light behind him, sneaking up on Rocky, so it was filmed specifically for the No Easy Way Out montage.
Now, this is a very heartfelt Rocky IV moment, and one of the most in the franchise. Memorable. Do you have a moment that every time you see in the franchise that no matter what, it gets you a little choked up?
Oh, dude, man, I'm a baby, man. I think I asked you this. I asked you guys this question because I know you guys are these. You're both from New York, right?
Yeah.
So if your accents give it away. But New York are tough people, right? You guys don't cry about nothing. And I asked you guys that, and I remember you both said, no, you don't cry. You've never cried in these movies. But you felt emotions, but you feel it.
There's one part for me that gets me a little choked up, and the older I get, the closer a tear comes to coming out. And it's ironically in what most people think is the worst, part 5. It's when Rocky's down in the street fight and Mickey's doing that voiceover and he goes, I ain't hear no bell. Get up, you son of a bitch, because Mickey loves you. And then the Rocky music drops in. Dun, 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 dun. It is so perfect, from Mickey giving him the motivation to the drop of the bell of the Rocky theme music. It is, to me, the greatest emotional moment in these movies. It's just everything about it is perfect. And the way Rocky kind of rises from the dead almost, because you see him kind of floating up. It's such a great moment and shot, and it was wasted in that movie.
Well, talking about like the montage, like these scenes, Rocky 5 has some of the best like speeches in it and best scenes in it. It's just the movie together isn't
it's a mess. Good. It doesn't make it,
there's some really great scenes, like the Mickey flashback that one tears me up every time when he says, now I'm giving it to you
part. The cufflink part,
and that music swells, and when he says, now I'm giving it to you, and that music swells as he's shakily handing over the cufflink to Rocky. Oh,
dude,
man.
that soft piano that they do for the Rocky theme is amazing. That dun, dun, dun. When they do it real slow on the, you hear that and it just sends chills. The music in this movie doesn't get enough respect as far as I'm concerned.
Oh yeah, I also interviewed Vince DiCola, the soundtrack dude.
It should, not just part 4, in general, like the Rocky theme. It's hard to argue anything being more known. People hear that dun, 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 and immediately everybody goes, "Oh, Rocky!" Immediately. Right. I don't think there's a human alive that hears that and goes, I don't know what that is, unless they're like recently born or.
Sure.
But I mean, it is such an iconic piece of music that, thinking about it, you can't even maybe the Godfather theme is up there with it. But I mean, even that, I would argue that more people know Rocky than the Godfather theme.
Of course.
Right. Yeah, I know Rocky. The Rocky theme not only is one of the most recognizable themes in the world, it's also one of the most inspirational themes in the world.
But the music in general, he always prided himself in his soundtracks. They were always good, and this one is no different. Go ahead, Ryan. Sorry.
No, it's fine. No, you're the guest. I was just going to say about the montage, 2 things that I always find interesting when I watch this No Easy Way Out montage is when he says that in the song, afraid that it can't be you and me, that line, it's actually showing the sequences of Rocky 3 when that was the theme of Rocky 3 when he was afraid.
Yeah, and it's funny that you bring up Rocky 3. Rocky 3 was the first and only time that you looked at Adrian and go, she's kind of hot. She's kind of hot.
She peaked? Is that when she peaked?
Oh, she peaked in 3, and then it was all downhill from there.
Yeah. Is that why they killed her? Is that why they killed her off by Rocky 6?
You would have to think. You would have to think. And another great shot in this driving scene is the simultaneous Rocky and Apollo falling. Yeah. When Apollo got the final kill shot, I love that spot too. When you just see Rocky going down and him going down, the towel hit. It's really just great stuff.
I agree. One last sequence from this that I liked, and I'll let you guys close up. When Rocky's there's one actually when he screams in the song, in the part of the song where Robert Tepper sings, when he sings the word wrong, that kind of guttural yell. Yeah. They cut it underneath of Stallone or Rocky screaming Adrian in the ring. So I kind of like how they edited that because it's Robert. For the longest time when I was younger, I thought it was Stallone like guest vocaling his vocals on the song because it has a guttural like Stallone sound, but it's Robert Tepper.
Over the top theme, Stallone actually did do some voice, some singing for what's the over the top one? The in our lifetime. What is it?
I'll cut it in. I'll put it in the audio release. You're looking for it?
He's just humming it. I don't know what the hell he's doing.
Oh, okay. Okay. So
Meet me halfway across the sky. That's the one.
The one last thing I thought was kind of funny is he's actually if you were to look at this montage in a funny way or a comedic way, it almost seems like Rocky's conflicted about fighting for his best friend or for his wife.
Yeah. And, as I'm watching it, I'm wondering it too. And then I thought, you know what, though? He's probably pondering his whole life because that suicide line is fresh in his head. So I did think that too, because I was like, why is there anything other than Apollo being shown? Because he should be focused on Apollo and Drago.
Yeah.
But then I was like, the suicide line's fresh in his head. So he's now looking at his whole life as a whole,
I agree. So I also found it interesting that we have Mickey dies in part 3, Apollo dies in part 4, Adrian dies before part 6, Paulie dies before Creed. Question for you guys: does anyone die before Creed is over?
Rocky.
Do you think he dies in part 2?
I hope not, but I mean,
I think so. I think Little Duke is going to wind up training him. I think he's going to die in this one, but I don't know.
I have a theory because Adrian and Paulie both died off screen. I think if Rocky dies, it's going to be off screen before Creed 3.
Why?
Stallone has said that he doesn't want to see Rocky die on screen. I think I've read that somewhere, or that was insinuated that he. I don't want to
think he's also taken on the role of Mick right
as
now.
a fan.
Mick died on screen.
As a fan, if you're killing Rocky, I deserve to see him die on screen. I want closure. I don't want just some title card that says, and then Rocky passed away.
Yeah.
Well, you heard that he was supposed to die in part 5, of course.
Yeah, and that's where the whole cancer thing, but then they kind of pulled back on that because they were like, we got something here. And there's
Tommy Gunn was supposed to kill him. He was actually...
Part 5, right. Yes, sorry. Yes.
So,
yes, I was thinking Creed.
They actually filmed it, and what it was, I don't know if you know the sequence, but he died in the ambulance ride to the hospital with Adrian by his side.
Yeah, I did remember hearing that. Yeah. And
the studio said, it's interesting that Stallone pretty much owns the story, if you could sense, but like everything, the studio wigs, they own everything. They said you don't kill James Bond, you don't kill Batman, and you don't kill Rocky. That's what they told him.
I agree, though. You don't.
Imagine if they did, you wouldn't have all this.
Yeah, we got 3 great movies after part 5.
It's crazy, eh?
Well, 2 great movies, potentially 3. But yeah, it is. And, after 5, everyone was like, oh, this franchise is dead. And then Balboa came out and he shocked everybody with a great movie.
Yeah.
Not just a good Rocky movie, just a good movie in general. It was a good, heartfelt movie about this aged boxer.
And he brought back a speech, one of the scenes when he's talking to his son.
Best speech in Rocky history.
Yeah,
it is. It's the best speech he's ever given. And it came out of nowhere in this movie that everyone, when it was announced, goes, another Rocky movie. And everyone, after they saw it, had the same response. I judged it poorly. I judged it unfairly. And it was a legit good movie.
I agree. I was actually skeptical about Rocky Balboa, and we were wrong. And I was skeptical about Creed, and I was wrong. And now I'm really excited about Creed 2, and I hope I'm not wrong.
See, with Creed, I just, while I like the movie, it doesn't give me the same feelings that the main Rocky movies do. I don't have that feeling that I need to go back to it as much. I don't have that feeling of I need to watch this movie when it's on.
I like them just as much, if not more than some of the
Rockies.
Because,
again, I was invested in Rocky fighting. I'm not invested in him sitting in the corner. Again, I like the movie, but it doesn't have that same specialness.
Before we close, I want to ask this to you guys. So, Ritchie, what Rocky films are worse than Creed Part 1?
Worse? Part 5 is worse.
3.
Part 3 is worse.
That's it. I'd give it 3 and 5.
Hold on. Creed is better than Rocky Balboa.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I put Creed up there with Part 2.
Okay, that's fair. And Rocky, you're saying just parts 3 and 5?
Yeah, I would just go parts 3 and 5.
And the last
but and I'm being realistic on that. It's a better movie than them, but I will watch 3 and 5 every time it's on. Don't get it twisted.
Sure.
And Creed, I will pass up on.
Yeah, why? I don't think you've given it enough chance.
No, I have, and it's not that I'm disliking this movie at all. It's just I don't have the same investment in a character fighting that's not Rocky in essentially Rocky's world.
But it's Creed's loins.
Like,
I know. Not
I know, but even then, the movies were never about Creed. They're about Rocky. And I know our love for Apollo Creed, being Rocky fans, has grown. I'm not saying that. But
everything revolved around
in
Creed.
The grand scheme of things, it's like if it was Rocky's son, maybe I'd have a little bit more investment.
No, that would have been shitty.
I agree. I don't think it would have worked. But, I don't know. It's just the fact that there's no real connection to Rocky other than...
Yeah, but the heart and soul of all the Rocky movies, except for like 1, 2, 3, and 4 are the best movies, pretty much, right? You could say before anything else. Well, I'm just saying that's what built the franchise, those movies.
Oh, yeah.
All right, now, Creed was in every aspect of those movies. Apollo Creed made those movies what they are.
Yeah. Again, I'm not saying he didn't. I love Apollo Creed.
So
I'm not putting him down in any way or form.
Adonis's offspring.
I saw someone put this up real quick as fans. Clubber Lang or Apollo Creed in a fight, who wins?
Apollo.
I say Apollo easy. Clubber gets winded after 3 rounds.
Yeah. Apollo could fight for
Apollo.
If
he just did his dancing and shucking and jiving, he would have worn out.
Yeah, I agree. He would have won Clubber out real quick.
No James Brown.
No dance routine before at this time.
So one last question, boys. Are we going to get a Creed 3, and do you want a Creed 3?
I don't.
Okay, you don't, or is there going to be one, and you don't want one, or what?
I don't because, all right, you're already going to the Drago well for part 2.
Sure.
You're running out of ideas, clearly.
Not really. Because he's still got to fight.
Pretty Ricky Conlon?
Pretty Ricky Conlon and the other dude.
No, he fought Pretty Ricky Conlon. He's got to fight that other dude, right?
What's his name? Wheeler?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still going to fight Wheeler. Wow.
You know that he has the championship at the beginning of the fight. Beginning of the movie.
Creed does.
Yes.
Oh, so we're missing stuff. So I'm guessing we're getting like a Rocky 2 to 3 jump with Adonis, where now he's champ, and
Well, we see him win the belt. I think that's the opening sequence. I think the opening 10 minutes is him winning the championship. That's how they started. It's my understanding. I could be wrong. I don't want to.
This movie comes out in what, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. I forget we're in November already.
It's so close.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's so close.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm excited about this.
Yeah.
And my excitement is only because this is a Drago Creed story.
Sure.
And I think, I that they knew this is something that's definite going to get asses in seats. You know what I mean? Yeah. The story wasn't even fleshed out until they came up with the idea, Creed versus Drago, the 2 sons. Yeah. And then they evolved the story probably from that idea, that pitch.
Rocky 4 is everybody's favorite Rocky.
It's the most universally watched, I have to think.
Yeah.
Because it's the most exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, those who aren't fanatics love that one the most. Yeah. And
in this YouTuber generation, it's the best one because it's a lot of quick cuts. It's a lot of just, set piece scene go, montage, montage, music part, fight, montage, music part, fight. It's done so sporadically and just.
It's perfect.
Yeah, it's perfect. The pacing of that movie is amazing. Yeah. They paced it so well, and it's short. It's a quick movie.
Yeah, it's like 80 minutes, 85 minutes.
It's not long at all, and you can tell because every 5 minutes there's another montage. Once they hit the end of 4, once he gets to Russia, it is maybe 20 lines of dialogue in between each montage.
Yeah.
If that. I think the longest part is when Duke gives him the speech upstairs.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the longest lull, so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, shut up, Duke. We got some training to do.
No, but that speech too, that's up there, great. Man.
Yeah,
that one, when he's like, Apollo was like a son to me, and when he died, that part is because you feel it in Duke. You could see it in his eyes, and like I like to think of the backstory of Apollo kind of being like this street kid that Duke took in, and Apollo's parents, his father maybe was a drug dealer who was killed in a shootout, and his mother was a crackhead who just left him on the streets. And Duke took him in and taught him the ways of boxing. Sure. And I like to think him and Duke have that kind of really deep relationship.
I think they did. Well, we're gonna close the show, but before we do, I want to say I love you guys.
We love you, buddy. We love the fact that you're out there spreading the good word of Rocky. Like to me, we need more people like you. So this legacy just never ends because it deserves to go on forever. It's so inspirational and just so motivating. Like when you watch Rocky train, it makes you want to get up and train and get in a good shape. But then of course you don't, and you sit back down and watch the rest of the movie. But it does motivate you a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. And thank you for that. I appreciate that. And thanks for taking the time out of your busy lives. I know you guys are busy coming on the show and talking Rocky. And I hope you guys will come back for at least for Rocky 5, some Rocky 5 coverage.
Yeah. Well, now let me ask you, are you guys going to
just got a new Creed trailer just now?
Are you guys going to do Creed as a separate thing, or will you include it on the Rocky podcast?
It's going to be on the Rocky podcast. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, because I was going to say after Creed comes out, we should all talk about it, but you kind of do in timeline. So
yeah, we won't be there for a bit. So we're going in order. Like, so season 5 will be Rocky 5, and then season 6 will be Rocky Balboa, and so forth and so forth. So
yeah.
So
can I give you a suggestion, maybe though?
Sure. Yeah, of course.
Why don't you do like a review for the general public right after the movie, right after you watch the movie?
Dude, it's already happening. Don't you worry. Oh yeah, okay. We're doing Ruben and I, my brother, we're gonna watch it, and we're gonna do a live Facebook review
right outside the theater, like
pretty much.
there.
Pretty much. We're just going to go on our phones on Facebook Live and say we just saw it. Might only be 15, 20, 30 minutes long tops. It's going to be a spoiler-filled
you should talk to some of the people out walking out, too.
Oh, yeah. Cool. That's interesting.
I
like that.
Get some of the people's insights and find people that, you would never... like, when I go to a certain movie, I like to look around. Like, let's say, like a Rob Zombie movie. I like to look around and see some of the people coming into the movie, and you will see some real... strange faces that don't look like they belong in the theater. And I want to know their thought process of the movie and going into it, because they don't look like the demo, So I always love just doing that when I go to an odd movie like that and picking out, why is this person here? They seem very out of place here.
I like it. You guys are sounding like podcasters. So why don't you talk about your show before we close up and where people can find you and all that good stuff?
Well, you can find us very easily on it's just superuglyshow.com. You go there, we have all these little tabs now. It's a very bare bones website, like I said. We're getting it worked on, but we wanted to just throw something up just so people can go to one main hub and really find everything. The 2 newest shows will always be up, and then we'll archive the rest of them. And then, like I said,
SuperUgly Show YouTube, though, if anything.
Yeah, you have the tabs there, though. If you click the YouTube, it'll bring you right to our homepage, and you just go over there, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. We're live every Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There's 2 shows now, actually. Super Ugly Show goes first at 7:30 p.m., and then there's This Is Life with me and my wife, Jessica, and it's a no-holds-barred couples show, is the best way I can put it, where we don't pull punches. We're very open with how we are as a couple sexually and everything in between. I say sexually because that's people's most interesting thing. Everyone wants to hear sex talk. But and it's a lot of fun. We've done about 10 episodes so far, and we're really crushing it. So, we're expanding the Super Ugly brand as a whole.
Well, thank you for coming on this show and being a part of your show. I've called into your show a couple times, and I listen to you guys every Tuesday or shortly thereafter in my earbuds. And love what you guys do. You make me crack up. Side question: you don't have to answer on the air if you don't want to, but I want to ask you before you hang up. Where's John?
John, we actually he might be showing up sooner than later.
Okay, I just want to say I miss him. I love him. He just kills me.
We love him too. We do. We love him too. But
He's
John
missed.
Yes, but John is he's better as a recurring character than a fixture.
Okay, well, fair enough. I understand that. All right, guys. Love you very much, guys, and you guys are awesome. And keep up the good work on your end too.
All right, Ryan. Yo, thanks so much, brother. And we love doing this, dude. Anytime you want us, we're available. We'll make it happen.
We'll make it work again. You bet. Have a good night, guys.
All right, you too, brother. Take care.